Hello, my friends, family, esteemed colleagues. Probably you have heard that another pandemic is occurring, and as our beloved president says, China. Okay, so this time they are talking about walking pneumonia or pneumonia, depending where in the world you are and what kind of English language you are using. So I recently wrote an article about pneumonia and mentioned in it what is walking pneumonia. So let's see first what is pneumonia. Well, pneumonia is inflammation of they call them air sacs. These air sacs, as you can see over here, so this originally are called alveoli of lungs that increase the surface of the lungs for better exchange of gases. And this alveolus, these air sacs, they are basically mucous tissue, inner skin, protected by, as the description says, mucus. Now this mucus is made out of plasma from the blood and has proteins and has some fat in it as well. Now, some cholesterol. So when these sacs, they say they fill in with toxic fluid as a result of a pathogen. Okay, so now we'll skip a little bit of explanation. Now, pneumonia is infection that inflames the air sacs in one or both lungs. Now, what is going to cause, okay, this thing to occur, this filling of these air sacs with toxic fluid? Well, they said, well, bacteria. The most common is Streptococcus pneumonia. But then there could be like different organisms, one cell parasite, which we called, in this case, mycoplasma. And then, of course, that could be fungus. And let's not forget viruses. And remember this virus here, this thing over here, because this is now what's happening in China. Okay, so now they said that we breathe this bacteria, these pathogens, and then they cause these problems. But who is at risk? Well, either babies, less than 2-year-old, or people over 65, or people that have chronic diseases already, or they have been smoking. Okay, weak suppressed immune system, yeah, of course. Okay, now, we should keep this in mind. Now, when we have this in mind, these are the causes, they say, but what are the symptoms? Okay, signs and symptoms of pneumonia may include chest pain, because of coughing, of course. Then you may have cough, could be confusion, mental awareness, a problem with the focusing, blurred vision, fatigue, fever, sweating, shaking, chills. Okay, then lower than normal body temperature, nausea, shortness of breath, of course. Alveoli are full with liquid, so it's difficult to exchange gases. Keep those symptoms in mind, okay? This is all revealing. It's right in your face. Now, of course, high-risk group, adults older than 65. What do we know? Adults, especially with underlying health conditions and on top of it age, well, they also often die from flu. And then, of course, people receiving chemotherapy, which is poisoning. Okay, so treatment, of course, antibiotics. What else can that be? No, you ask doctor, but it's a pill. All right, and now, is this contagious? Well, of course, this is bacteria going on, right? So it's highly contagious. Well, but as we are going to talk later, there are people with walk-in pneumonia. They don't even know they have pneumonia, and nobody around them gets pneumonia. But under X-ray, their chest may look terrible. Remember, whenever you have something in the chest or some fluid, causes resistance to passing radiation. So if you take an X-ray, you will very difficult distinguish if something is pneumonia or tumor, because they pose similar resistance to passing rays, and this way they leave white spots. Okay, so now we have learned the scientific or the modern way of explaining things for those who want to stay in darkness, and now we are going to go to light. Okay, my friends, so now we can go and explain what is pneumonia or pneumonia. Potato. You know, I have to laugh very often when I'm being corrected with my English from mispronouncing something, when Americans are known to mispronounce just about anything, and especially in science. You know, when I came to the United States, I thought I studied the wrong medicine because I could not understand anything. You know, they asked me, what do you think about the conjunctivitis? What the hell is conjunctivitis? So I had to see it written. So, it's a conjunctivitis. Oh shit. Conjunctiva. What is freaking conjunctiva? Conjunctiva. Okay, so here we go. Not only in when we talk about medical terms, Latin terms, but you know, aluminum. What bothers me the most is countries. You know, it's Chile. Well, it's not chili pepper. They pronounce correctly the capital, Santiago de Chile. No? Santiago from Chile, because you have Santiago in different Spanish countries. So capital of country called Chile is Santiago de Chile. No, it's Santiago de Chile in Chile. Anyway, so Light, dark to light. So now, when we talk about pneumonia, pneumonia, whichever we say, in Croatian upala pluća, we are talking about a buildup of liquid inside alveoli, the lung sacs, where the air exchange goes on. So if you have a buildup of air sac, or if you have a buildup of mucus there, it's not liquid, it's mucus, because the surface covering of lungs is by inner skin, and inner skin is being protected by mucus to be always moist, and so the foreign proteins cannot really get there. So it has a light coating also of cholesterol within the mucus and proteins in it. But something happens that the amount of this mucus increases and starts impeding the airflow. So you start having symptoms very similar to asthma. You cannot breathe. Well, we have to understand that mucosal tissue is also a blood cleansing organ. So if blood toxicity increases to the higher level where kidneys cannot take it out, toxicity is higher than kidneys can handle, then mucosal tissue takes over. Also, mucosal tissue wastes less plasma in cleansing process than kidneys, because urine is pure plasma. We say water, it's not water because it's salty. It's water with minerals, with salts. And to take out few toxins, you waste a lot of plasma that you eliminate through urination. Now, when your body is low on blood plasma, it doesn't want to part with plasma. So it delays elimination, urine becomes darker, toxicity of the blood is increasing, and as it increases, it hits the switch for mucosal tissue, saying, okay, now the toxicity is here, now let's take it out through mucus. Usually it's done through digestive system more than other mucosal tissue, the respiratory mucosal tissue. But if lungs themselves are toxic, then what is going to happen? Well, as plasma, lympha, and plasma goes into lungs, then it's already toxic, and then hits toxic area, accumulation of toxins. So if you have been smoker, bingo, this is why they mention those smokers. Okay? But also keep in mind that whenever there is an area which has mosquitoes, and mosquitoes have been now programmed in biolabs to transmit toxins, and let's say some of them, we call it dengue. Now, this is way more scare than it's really true. But they use this as a scare to fumigate. What is a fumigation all about? Well, fumigation is toxic, poisoning the lungs, the respiratory system, sinuses and lungs. So body is equipped to defend itself. So it will try to isolate these toxins. And instead of pushing them into the blood, we'll try to eliminate them simply through getting rid of toxic mucus that has trapped it. But for that, again, you need plasma. So once when you start cleansing through mucosal tissue and you have toxic lungs, what happens? You start having phlegm. And then you have to cough it out, because phlegm, lungs have a cells with the tails pointing in direction towards outside, towards where the air comes in. And they move and they push the phlegm up, and phlegm comes to your throat, starts irritating you, and you cough it out. And you cough out toxic mucus. The body is eliminating toxins that came through air. What did we see in China? We saw trucks fumigating. The whole place, called this voodoo, was full of white smoke. What do I see here in Amazonia? They have these campaigns. Always before the pandemic is supposed to happen, there is action. Fumigation, oh, we see dengue increasing. We need fumigating. Well, nobody is having dengue. There is fumigation and people, yeah, come, with mosquitoes. So everybody breathes the stuff. They tell you, oh no, it's not toxic, but they are masked to the gazoo, no? After every of these events of spraying, hospitals fill up with people having dengue or other. There are several of these diseases they are promoting to be transmitted by mosquitoes. It's a all big joke. But people don't get it. So we are being polluted. The pollution doesn't stay local. A lot of it seeps into the bloodstream, and then body tries to get it out, but it needs plasma. If you don't have plasma, brain calculates, okay, what is more important? Maintaining the plasma level, or get rid of this which is toxic but not that toxic, okay? What is more now beneficial for the body in this state? So you have Google to calculate. And it may happen that calculation comes, body is very low in plasma, we really cannot afford to lose plasma for this. So the other thing that body does is to try to isolate the toxin. So it shoves it in the tissue. Sometimes, if that tissue has particular purpose, let's say uterus has to be always maintained to create new life, so it has to be kept as clean as possible. So now the body cannot afford to store this garbage there, but it's coming through toxic blood. So the body starts accumulating it, creates a tissue where it accumulates it, localizes it, and we call it cyst. The liquid that is inside is toxic, and it has been kind of separating the toxins, so whatever passes through and goes into the uterus is less toxic. So when we go back to lungs, it's not only that lung is toxic, but you have also toxic blood and toxic body. The longer you are with low plasma, the longer you live with low plasma, the more toxic your body becomes on a cellular level, because your blood is becoming higher in toxicity, and in a level of tissues where toxins are being kind of pushed in there, subcutaneously, connective tissue, fatty tissue, in the joints, wherever there is less problem caused by this toxicity. Within the cells, if cells cannot cleanse and the toxicity becomes problematic, cell is going to cause the sacs where it push the toxin in and then seal them, isolate them. Okay, we call it mesosome or microsome. Now they call it the word I cannot use because they'll take the video out right away and probably close my channel. So I want to push this also on YouTube, not only on Rumble, because face it, on Rumble, BitChute, I have 400 people that subscribe to it, and on YouTube I have almost 7,000. So I have to make this available to more people. So I gotta watch my language. Now, when we understand correctly that alveoli are filling with the toxic mucus, alveoli are becoming cysts. They are holding the toxin there, not to go into the blood and then try to eliminate it by coughing it out. But you gotta increase the plasma level so the body has a little more plasma that it will be willing to part with to create a looser mucus so it can be easier to take it out. If the body is dehydrated and is holding on a plasma, it is not going to make a loose mucus. It will keep it thick. You won't be able to cough it out. It will not even be pushed to your throat. So you may not even know that you have alveoli filling with toxin. So if you're in a situation that you're so dehydrated and your lungs are toxic, you're a smoker, you have been exposed to toxic from the air, don't forget the chemtrails. On top of this spraying stuff against mosquitoes, I guess we are the mosquitoes. Body will isolate this, and alveoli are turned into cysts. Now sometimes you may have pathogen forming to deal with it because your body is not dealing with it, because it can't. Now you may have streptococcus or mycoplasma or fungus munching on the stuff. But they are not the problem. The stuff itself is a problem. Well, but science doesn't accept this, because science has to sell you something and has to make things difficult and impossible. So you need professionals to deal with this. And of course, professionals are brainwashed, part of the system. System that creates problem is not the system that corrects it. So, if your plasma levels a little higher, you are going to start having symptoms of pneumonia, because you are going to have strong fever, you will be sweating, you are going to have most likely diarrhea, very often nausea. You are going to have maybe even tachycardia. Those are all symptoms of toxic blood and blood detox. And you are going to be producing a lot of phlegm. You will have runny nose, runny eyes, producing phlegm, coughing it out. These are all detox symptoms of a toxic body and toxic blood. And you say, oh, you got a full-blown pneumonia. Well, but if the plasma levels are low and you are toxic, well, now you don't get even high fever because body cannot waste through a lot of sweating. So you have a low-grade fever. Just keep your body pushing the toxins toward the skin and pushing them out as much as possible, but again, minimizing the waste of water. So you will feel the skin sticky. It's constantly moist, sticky, because it is pushing out the toxin, but trying to save plasma. When you go into alveoli, you will have like a little difficult of breathing, but nothing really that can pinpoint. But you take X-ray and, oh my God, the lungs look terrible. Well, lungs are filled with toxic, thick liquid that doesn't stimulate you much for cough because it's hard to push up because it's very dehydrated, it's sticky, dense, but it's toxic liquid. We are never talking about pathogen creating any of these problems. This is simply toxic environment, body in a toxic environment, and toxic body in a toxic environment. Now you may understand, okay, well, we have a 65-year and older, and we have people with chronic health issues, which means that they are toxic already. So we understand, okay, these people will most likely develop pneumonia, but hey, what happened with babies? Up to 2-year-olds. After that, they become more resistant. Their immune system is stronger. Baloney. Babies come from toxic mothers, supplied with toxic blood during their development. So they are born toxic. The body was not able to cleanse correctly when it was growing, so it already came with toxic tissue. So now it starts suckling milk of a toxic mother, but milk is less toxic than blood. So it starts getting plasma, not big quantities of plasma, because milk is balanced. Body is created to perfection. So it knows exactly how much plasma it needs for growing organism. So milk provides the food, it provides the proteins, everything that new body needs for growth, and provides plasma, not only to sustain the growing body, to increase the plasma levels as body is growing, but also to have plasma available for detox, because the baby, even the milk that it suckles, metabolism will create stuff that has to be taken out. This is why milk has a lactose that in intestine turns into fiber under influence of enzyme lactase. So it doesn't get absorbed as a nutrient into the blood, but it's basically helping to evacuate. So milk is plasma, but it's finely tuned for optimal support of healthy growing organism. But if the organism is toxic, this doesn't provide enough plasma for cleansing of the already toxic body. So what happens? As the plasma level increases, the baby wants to go into detox but is low on plasma. So which organ is affected the most? The one that cleanses the blood and the body with losing least amount of plasma, which is the skin. So what do we see in babies? They always have skin problems. Now, the newborns always come with a skin problem. And then they put steroids on them. Oh, we got your skin. You poison baby more. You have to allow baby to cleanse. So you give it plasma. You have to give it more salt and water. So even nursing baby, if they have a skin problem, skin rash, little redness, immediately plasma. Allow more plasma so the baby can cleanse. So it will go into diarrhea, perfect. It will cleanse quicker. But we say diarrhea, oh, it's that bad, you sea salt is bad, you cannot. Well, doctors, are you listening? Are you waking up? Is the Kugel working? I'm using pneumonia now to destroy the medical science. I'm just showing you how stupid we have been accepting this garbage as a science. No wonder no doctor knows how to heal simple pimple. How can you heal cancer when you don't even understand what cancer is? We all have to start drinking huge amounts of plasma. Seawater, diluted. Salinity of the blood is approximately 9 grams of salt per liter of blood. So, salinity of seawater is, in the tropics, about 35 grams of salt per 1 liter. Take 1 liter of water diluted with 3 liters of distilled water and bingo! You got your plasma. You can inject directly into your vein, but you can use any potable water, dilute the seawater with it, and drink it. And miracles will happen. As far as healing goes. But, unfortunately, the healing comes with what we call healing pains, because your body erupts when you start cleansing, because it starts to detoxify. When toxins are embedded in a tissue, they cause little problems. But for body to expel the toxins out, they have to release it from tissue into the blood, so then by cleansing the blood, you get rid of them. So as the body is releasing toxins from a tissue or from the cells, it pollutes the blood. And if not enough plasma is being given, then symptoms of toxic blood appear. Blurred vision, loss of concentration, you get spaced out, you get tinnitus. You get fever. You get pain, headache, muscle pain, joint pain. Those are all symptoms of toxic blood, sepsis. And then body starts eliminating toxic blood through blood cleansing organs, so your urine starts smelling, changes color. You get diarrhea. You may even get nausea and vomit if it's high toxicity coming into a form of mucus settling in your stomach. You get symptoms of pulmonary diseases because you are producing phlegm. Your body is cleansing in every possible way. Every single disease can be cut down and showed to be a toxic event. Every single disease. Cancer is slightly different because all you have to be is dehydrated on cellular level in an organ and then disengage the organ from the brain by creating thoughts, and you end up with a permanent proliferation of acidic cells, which form what we call tumor or cancer. Again, million stories about it, complications, oh no, it's bacteria, oh no, it's a mycoplasma, oh no, it's a fungus. None of this. None of this. So, again, we are ripping the medical science, shredding it. And it's time for this to be done, because it has been created to control people and to depopulate. This is why it is controlled by Rockefeller Foundation. And this is why you need a license. You need to be licensed for everything. They want to make sure that you know the science well, so you don't start helping people. You have to continue killing them. This is why you have big arrangement of pills and toxic medication to do the job correctly. Doctors, wake up. So when you are in walking pneumonia, which means symptoms are not very clear, you don't have high fever, you're just kind of sweating, you feel feverish, but you feel a little difficult breathing, but still it's not the real deal. Okay, so you can work, you have this walking pneumonia, you are walking, sometimes you don't even understand that it's a problem with your lungs where you have these things. Well, it's not problem with the lungs. This is one of the problems. Problem is in whole body, in the blood, and dehydration prevents it from being full blown out disease of symptoms of detox. Because cannot detox without plasma. I hope the Google is working. I'm trying to explain this in layman's most simple language possible, because my experience of 20 years trying to wake up doctors showed not zero, but very close to zero response of doctors being even interested to give it a thought. It's, where did you study? Zagreb, Croatia. Croatia, what do they know? I studied in New York. Well, no matter where you study, being in Zanzibar, they have now medical colleges, medical schools, universities everywhere. Saba, the little freaking island in middle of the Caribbean, with 10 people living on it, has university, medical university. Okay? And they all use the same books approved by Cabal, by Rockefellers. So what do you think? You're going to learn truth? Are you kidding me? Okay, well, here we are, folks. Don't be afraid. If you have any symptoms of any so-called disease, doesn't matter what we are talking about. You are toxic, you have to cleanse. Follow the self-healer's protocol. This is the simplest thing you can do. It's so freaking simple that it's laughable. Only for indoctrinated brain, it's very difficult to understand. Well, but it's bacteria. The hormonal problems are, how can you fix hormones? But microflora, you need how can you do this if you don't have microflora? It's all hogwash. It's all stupid theories developed based on stupid science that we accept it as a norm of truth. It's truth reversed 180. Typical for Cabal. Well, thank you for listening to my rant over here. I hope you get some out of it. Every end of my video has my site on it. So go to my site, there's much more information there. Start using the protocol and heal yourself. Doesn't matter if you have been this or this. Doesn't matter on what your diagnostic is of whatever symbol they use to describe your health issue. It's always the same. It's toxicity and getting rid of this toxicity that causes the symptoms. So when you follow the protocol, don't go into panic. Well, my symptoms are increasing. Of course they're increasing. Your body is throwing garbage out. And this is what the symptoms are all about. When you have a symptoms of disease, you are not getting sick. You are getting healed. And then you take medication to suppress this. That's what doctors are trained to do. You got to shred those licenses. Okay, my friends. Thank you for listening. Till next time. Love you all. Namaste. God bless you.